How did a small church in Rome grow into the most powerful empire on earth without an army? How did men in robes outlast kings, dynasties, and empires that seemed unstoppable? This is not just religion. This is strategy. This is control perfected over centuries. This is how the Vatican mastered the laws of power. Set up. When Rome collapsed, chaos swallowed Europe. Kingdoms rose and fell. War never ended. But one institution survived, grew, and spread its influence further than any single empire. The Vatican. It had no armies. It held no borders, yet it bent kings and emperors to its will. The secret. The Vatican didn't just preach faith. It built power like a fortress, spectacle and fear. Step 1. Spectacle. The Vatican understood the power of awe. Cathedrals were not just buildings, they were theaters of dominance. Stained glass, gold altars, vast domes reaching into the heavens. When peasants walked inside, they felt small. They felt judged. They felt watched. Fear was not only about hell, it was about hierarchy. Disobey the church, and you risk excommunication. To be cut off from God was to be cut off from society itself. No king could rule without the blessing of the church. No peasant could belong without its approval. Fear became obedience. Secrecy and mystery. Step 2. Secrecy. The Vatican mastered the art of hidden knowledge, locked archives, forbidden books, languages only priests could read. When you control information, you control reality. The church decided which scriptures were holy and which were heresy. It burned books, silenced thinkers, and kept secrets buried under centuries of dust. Mystery created dependence. People trusted the church because they had no other access to truth. Alliances and division. Step 3. Alliances. The Vatican learned to play kings against one another, crown one ruler, deny another, support one war, condemn the next. When kingdoms fought, the church always gained. Divide and rule was not just a Roman strategy. It became Vatican law. By never tying itself too tightly to one power, the Vatican outlived them all. Step 4. Money. The Vatican built the first international bank. Tithes flowed from peasants to Rome like rivers of gold. Land, taxes, indulgences, all collected under God's name. But money alone was not the trick. It was how they used it. The church bought loyalty. It financed crusades. It built monuments to remind everyone of its reach. Every coin was a weapon, and every donation was insurance on power. The Inquisition. Then came the Inquisition. The Vatican unleashed fear as a tool sharper than any sword. Heretics were hunted, tortured, and burned, not just to punish them, but to terrify the masses. The message was clear: oppose the church, and you oppose God himself. It was a masterclass in psychological warfare. By making examples of the few, they controlled the many. Soft power, hard results. Unlike empires that relied on armies, the Vatican used soft power. It shaped culture, art, and law. It influenced kings through confession. Imagine rulers kneeling and revealing their darkest secrets to priests sworn to Rome. Those secrets became leverage. The Vatican became untouchable. No sword could pierce it, because it did not fight battles on the field. It fought them in the soul. The Jesuits and knowledge. The Jesuits were the Vatican's special forces, not soldiers with swords, but with ideas. They became advisors, teachers, missionaries. They entered courts, schools, and far-off lands. Where kings ruled bodies, the Jesuits ruled minds. Education was their weapon. By teaching the elite, they shaped the next generation of rulers. Control the teacher, and you control the student. Control the student, and you control the kingdom. The Vatican versus empires. Look at history. Empires that once seemed unstoppable crumbled. Spain, France, the Holy Roman Empire. Each rose and fell. But the Vatican remained. Even Napoleon, who conquered almost all of Europe, could not crush it. Even Mussolini had to bow to it and sign treaties recognizing its sovereignty. The Vatican's genius was endurance. It understood that armies exhaust themselves, but ideas, rituals, and fear last forever. Fast forward to today, the Vatican still stands as the smallest country in the world, yet one of the most influential. It advises presidents, it negotiates treaties, it sits on billions in wealth. Even as church attendance declines in the West, the Vatican remains central in global politics. It influences debates on morality, science, economics. Its archives still hold secrets unseen by the public, and its network stretches across the globe. Power principles in action. What can we learn from the 48 laws of power? Law 6, court attention at all cost. The Vatican mastered spectacle with grand rituals and architecture. Law 18, do not build fortresses to protect yourself. The Vatican built no walls of stone, but walls of faith and fear. Law 23. Concentrate your forces. By focusing on controlling the soul, the Vatican controlled everything else. Law 27. Play on people's need to believe. Religion gave them absolute authority over hearts and minds. The Vatican turned these laws into doctrine. Hidden insight. Here's the hidden truth. The Vatican never needed to conquer land. It conquered belief. While empires fought over borders, the Church fought for the human spirit. And once it claimed that territory, it never let go. That is why it still stands when countless kings and kingdoms are long forgotten. Closing. So ask yourself this: is the Vatican a holy institution of faith, or the most perfected power machine the world has ever seen? Maybe it is both. Maybe that is why it has survived longer than any empire, because the greatest empire is not built on stone or steel. The greatest empire is built inside the human mind.